Welcome to the podcast From Stress to Success Blueprint. I'm your host, Lolita, and I'm continuing the conversation about the myths of stress management. The third myth, and this is not like major, going by this is the biggest myth, this is the small, like it's just like a list, okay? And if you have any questions or myths that you think that's probably one that I should include, let me know in the comments below. So, um, Another stress management myth in overall about stress is that only big changes in your life changes um, only the big changes in your life cause stress. Uh, well, I don't know who can even come up with that kind of statement of thinking that only divorces and losing your parents and funerals or losing your job can be stressful and nothing else. Because as you know, we have so many stresses. If somebody thinks, oh, okay, so here's the two things that come to my mind immediately, okay? Um, you sit in traffic and you're late to work and somebody cuts you off. It's not a big event, isn't it? Probably you'll get triggered. I mean, I used to get that a lot, but now I'm like, okay, you go. Maybe you need to go to the restroom. I don't know. Maybe your wife is giving you birth. You just go. But that's different conversation, because it's all about how you're really managing that. It's all about managing, but that's not what we're talking about here, right? This episode is about that only big things can cause stress. Everything else is not stressful. Um, there was some another thing I want to say, but I forgot what was it. But anyway, so um, it can be also that little stress can cause the same huge, horrific reaction from someone when, because they grew up in the environment where everything was very hyper, everything was out of control, it was just like dysfunctioning, or maybe somebody with addiction in the family or mental health. That child that grew up was constantly always anxious. So any little thing that happens to them, it's already throws them off balance. So when we really talk about the question that only the big things can be stressful, it all depends. Because what is stressful for me is not necessarily stressful for you. For example, I used to be very hyper and stressed out because that's the environment I grew up. I was always constantly on alert because, well, I had to. My dad was alcoholic, and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen today. And that's how I made my body sick because when I start overworking, overloading myself, burning myself down, my body says, listen, I cannot do this anymore. But you see, somebody from a side can say, she just went to work. What's the big deal? She was working on, and that's what actually I got from some people around me when I became ill, and I was like, I need to worry about my stress. I constantly heard from people, oh, come on, everybody's stressing. This is the part of life. And usually would come from other people, who that victim mentality of, oh, if you're stressing and if you overwork, that's mean, you're doing so much and you deserve a medal. Look at me, poor me. So listen, there are so many people, so many stresses. What is stressful for me? It doesn't mean it's stressful for you. So how can we say that that's even possible? How we can say that all of this is so easy to manage and we can judge other people and you should not be stressful and only big events can be stressful and smaller not. For somebody can be one little drive to work super stressful. Somebody to leave their house could be super stressful. So compassion. When somebody says something that is stressful for them, don't judge them. Don't say, well, what do you think? I mean, that's nothing. I mean, somebody's child just died. Now that's stressful. And you leaving your house is stressful. This is nonsense. Put yourself together. We need to realize that we all coming from different environments. We all understand things differently. We react to stress very differently. And we handle that stress very differently. And we heal differently. So, yeah, that's a total myth. But I would like to hear your opinion. Do you think it's a yes or it's a no? So leave me a comment below and I would love to hear what you think.